if I had to remain quiet for what happened to me, and something really, really bad happens to someone after, and I kept quiet, that's a regret I'll never be able to live with.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to the Not For Nothing podcast, hosted by the dynamic duo Christopher Michael and Ashley Mayland, where they delve into life, love, relationships, and personal growth. Be sure to tune in every week for a refreshing take on life's most important lessons.
The question I get a lot is, wait, how did you have the strength to do the moves that you made?
Right.
Right? Because so many people get abused and they'll go, oh, well, it's going to be different. They've apologized. It's going to be better now. And they're manipulated into feeling, it's like behavior breeds behavior, right? So you start thinking, oh, this is the real thing. This is happening. Or people are so scared to be alone. Yeah. And that's a very dangerous place to be.
Oh, yeah.
I love being alone. And it's
too.
not like I like being alone, like me, myself, and I.
Mm-hmm.
It's, like I'm so much more peaceful. I don't need a man in my life to keep me happy, to make me happy, to financially keep me stable.
Yeah. Amen.
I've always kept myself, again, from my dad, right?
Right.
Like I've always been financially stable by myself. I've never needed anyone.
It's great,
right?
though.
And, fun fact, when this all ended and I kicked him out, I was financially better off. Because I wasn't taken care of.
Oh, absolutely.
Him. So it's like, listen, you're not there for me financially, you're not there for me mentally or physically. So what am I losing? A headache?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm losing a headache.
Yeah.
So
It's great that you were able to get out of it. Honestly, a lot. And from what I understand, it's very hard for women to get out of relationships like that.
Well, and especially women who, didn't have the finances to get out. Some women are they feel stuck because they're like, I've been, a lot of those abusive men have a need to control. And if they can get a woman to stop working and rely only on them, it's like ideal for them.
They trap you.
They'll trap them. And then so some women are like, I have nothing. I can't get out of here. Like I'm stuck.
So here's the thing. I seen this actually on, I think it was TikTok or something the other day. And it was this guy who went up to someone and he said, okay, I'm going to give you $10 million right now. You want to take it? Would you take $10 million if I handed it to you right now?
Absolutely.
Right. But the only thing against it, right, is you won't wake up tomorrow morning. Would you still take the $10 million?
Absolutely not.
No.
Smart, right? Because it's like, you can have all this money and we chase every single day for that dollar, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, it doesn't mean shit if you can't wake up the next day and have it.
That's right.
So being in these abusive relationships, when you're financially bound to a financial relationship and you don't have any responsibility for yourself, no freedom, no financial freedom, what does it matter? We only have one life. Yeah. We've only got one life to live. And
it's worth the risk.
No, there's that thing too. It's like they'll say money doesn't make you happy. Have you ever seen a rich person cry on a yacht? Right?
But to that point, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Just to that point though, since you said it, it doesn't make you happy, but it does make you comfortable. Yeah. And people do need to spend more time realizing that, because if you keep chasing, all you're ever doing is chasing money in your life, you're never going to truly be happy.
Exactly. Yeah, as long as you have enough.
Yeah, you need to have, it helps.
And that's it. It's like the greed. There's a greed that's surrounded by it a lot. And I think it's like, yes, you should be financially stable. I think that's but financially stable, right?
Right.
You have more money, amazing, fantastic. Yeah. But to be held down and become a slave to money, it's not worth living. Like your health is everything.
For sure. Right?
You've got one life and you come in without any of it, you go out with none of it, right? So it's like, there has to be an importance there for independence and...
But I want to say this too, and I agree totally, but I want to say this too for, a woman or a man, we'll say, that is stuck in a relationship where they don't have any money. They have nowhere to go. There are resources to help you, and it might be humbling in that moment. It might be humbling to have to ask for help from a shelter, or to have to ask for help from a women's, what do they call them? A safe house,
safe houses.
It might be humbling to have to do that. And it's, it's going to suck at first, but take it. Take what help you can get. Look for what help you can get, because once you're out, you're free. You're free. And you can find your way back up. You can build your life again once you get away. It's the getting away that's the hard part. So if you can find a shelter, if you can find a safe house, go. Run. Don't walk. Go and take that help so that you can get back on your feet, especially if you have kids that are also going through it. Take the help you can get. Don't let your shame or anything like that get in the way, because your life is worth living. Your life is worth it, and your kid's life is worth it too.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe the two of you can give me more insight into it, but it's very curious to me. And that, in every situation as a human being, if we're in a dire circumstance, our fight or flight kicks in. It's just how we're built. But what I've always found curious, and I understand that sometimes there are circumstances that keep women trapped in relationships like that, is it's weird. It seems like the fight or flight in you kind of stalls.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't fight. Right. And you don't flee.
That's also a survivor mechanism. That is
right. Is that what it is though?
It's called freeze.
Okay.
That's like the technical term for it. It's called freeze. And what happens is a person numbs themselves.
Right.
Because the pain becomes too unbearable and the fear of not being able to get out becomes too unbearable. And they can't exist with either reality. So they freeze, they numb, and it's almost like everything going on around them is just not there anymore. It's a protective mechanism that we actually do mentally to protect ourselves in a weird, strange way.
Yeah. I think that we all think, this can't get any better. It can't be greener on the other side. It's greener where your water is, right?
Absolutely.
It's honestly so much more beautiful, brighter, colorful, like rewarding just to walk away.
Yeah.
Like you can make money. Money come, money goes.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't take these risks in your life, like what you're going to go through life regretting, wasting more time. Like time is the essence is such a presence that we can't let go of, and we can't abuse it. We can't take it for granted.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And a man or a girl, a woman can break you down. They can break you down mentally, but you can get back up. And once you start believing that you can have that life, you have to believe it. You have to believe that no matter what has happened back here, I'm capable, I'm worthy, I'm valuable enough to build a career. I can get in there. Even without a high school education, there are jobs out there that I can find. There are things I can do to rebuild a life that is worth living. Like you can do it if you believe it, but you have to believe that you can.
Exactly. And I think any type of abusive situation people are in, it's like I will look at the darkness, but I don't stare at it.
Yeah.
Right. So I think there's something so powerful about that. You can walk away from these situations and not be drawn down by it.
You know what it is? I feel like, and it's tough sometimes for people because like you're very strong-willed and strong-minded, and that was instilled in you from a very young age. So it never got past. I mean, don't get me wrong, you dealt with a high degree of mental abuse, but when it got to the point that one day you, at that point, got out.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people who just aren't as mentally strong-willed as you are, it's very hard for them. And it's almost like they have to learn that behavior while they're going through it.
That's right.
And it's very difficult to do it.
Yeah, that's why we're doing what we're doing now. It's like to show that we're prodigies of that.
Yeah.
And we have to really just give ourselves a pat on the back for how strong we are.
Absolutely.
Like, and we've all got it in us. There's not like you're weak, you're strong. Like you have it, it's in you. We're all human, right?
That's right.
And it's just if I can share my strength and how I coped with it. Like, I'm not going to, like, I was at my lowest point. I couldn't even get out of bed.
Right.
To where I am now.
Right.
And that's okay. I never walked and went, I'm strong. I'm this person.
You don't feel it in the moment.
No, it's time. Like,
that's right.
Time
it's getting up every day.
Exactly.
Taking just a step, even if that's all you can do that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they always say, you got to always set, like in any situation, I believe, even situations like yours, when you get out of them, small goals, right? Like every day, it's just got to be a small goal. If you make things unattainable for yourself, it's very hard to achieve them. But if you just set little milestones for yourself and just achieve them one at a time, you'll look back 6 months down the road and say, wow, I've come a long way.
Yeah.
Like those little things add up over time.
That's funny because like Scottish people don't really like to big ourselves up. We don't like to talk about ourselves or try and promote ourselves, right? And it's when I have to do this or talk about my experience, and when people go, well, but you're strong. I wasn't strong, but it's like you start to go, God, I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah.
I'm proud of how far I've came. And if I can teach this, like if I can just help one person, one person, you know, I've already helped multiple people. That's actually very close friends of mine that were, you know, went through similar situations, if not worse.
It's great that you help them. You were able to help them.
To see how beautiful their lives are now. Yeah. Like none of them have had a worser life. They're all blooming and so happy and talking about it and just living their best life, right?
Yeah.
It's like that movie. Well, have you seen the new Ariana Grande music video?
I did.
I have not. No,
Got my notes here.
What? You haven't?
I'm going to have to look it up now for sure.
I'll tell you what it's called. So it's called We Can't Be Friends.
Yeah.
You have to watch it. You have to watch it.
It's a good video?
Yeah, and it's based off that external Sunshine of a Spotless Mind with, I think,
really?
Jim Carrey that's in it.
Yeah.
And it's all about, like, if you had the chance to erase someone from your memory, would you do it? Like, would you do it?
I would
Wow.
not.
Right? And, you know, a lot of people that went through trauma or a really bad breakup or something that really designed them in a way that they knew not to be, right? They all say, yes, I'd get rid of that, or don't want to have that experience. No.
Yeah.
I would never.
I've learned so much, like, to see who I am now.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I keep going back and saying I'm so grateful for all of the things that I went through, because now, like, you know, you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
And you move through, and if you don't have roadblocks in front of you, right? How are you meant to learn? How are you meant to get through life if you feel like, you know, you just don't keep getting knockbacks, like knockbacks or being told you can't do something, or like everything's all honky-dory.
Yeah. It's like they say, it's that quote where they talk about, you know, if you ask God for strength, he's not just going to give you strength. He's going to give you circumstances where you have to be strong. Where you have to find your strength within.
Exactly. And I feel also, which I want to make a point of, is yes, I'm a victim of domestic violence, but don't feel sorry for me.
Yeah.
Don't feel sorry for me. Okay. Because it happened. Everything happens for a reason.
That's right.
Right. I'm not going to go around my life saying, oh, this is me. This is what happened to me. Feel sorry for me. Don't feel sorry for me. It happened to me.
Yeah.
Let me now try and make a positive impact for what happened to me.
Yeah.
This is all a learning curve for all of us.
It's a celebration.
And,
because
exactly.
now other people get to, you know, learn in a way that they couldn't have learned otherwise. Your voice matters. You have a voice that somebody needed to hear. You know, and they could hear it from you in a way they couldn't have heard it from someone else. Like, you know, I'm more of a soft love approach, right? I'm more of an encouragement approach versus you're like, get your shit together, stand back up and be the woman that you know you are. And different people need different approaches to understand, right? So it's important that you're telling the story and the way that you did it and the way that you thought about it and the way that you healed from it, because there's someone out there that's been listening to people like me. And while the message is great, it's not clicking for them. Yeah. Right. Because they need to hear someone like you.
Right.
Exactly.
Everybody deals with things differently. But to your point before, I think, like we said, we all have a path in life. I think God gives people obstacles, individual people obstacles in their life that are going to help strengthen them achieving what they need to achieve in life.
Right.
It's unfortunate that some of them are very traumatic, right? Like you had something traumatic you did. I grew up with a very traumatic childhood. But I think that God gives us these things that makes us stronger. And inevitably teaches us the things that we need to learn as human beings, as individuals, that are going to prepare us for where we need to go in our lives.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. And I feel too that, you know, there's this thing about if you're talking to your friends or whatever, they're really good at giving you advice, but we're not really good at taking our own advice.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And the way I kind of way of putting it is like, imagine you have like your child, right? Your child or your best friend that you just love so dearly. And watching them go through abuse or someone not being good to them, you can stand up tall, you're a little bit taller, and you're no, and you go that extra mile for these people, right? And you stand up for them.
Protect them at all costs.
And you tell them, don't put up with this, or this is what you should do. You flip that, reverse it, right?
Yeah.
And when it comes to yourself, you kind of let that go a little bit. Yeah. So it's like, how do we teach people that how we protect others, we need to put that sphere around ourselves. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it's not to say stop helping others, but take our own advice.
Yeah.
Instead of listening to other people, take your own advice. Take yourself, put yourself in someone else's shoes and go, I'm protecting myself. I'm going to put boundaries in place. Yeah. Be strong. And just as a mindset, there's a lot, everything that we do is through the mind.
That's right.
Right. And it's just switching the mind up.
That's right.
And just changing it and just designing your own destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
It's like learning to care for yourself the way you would care for someone that you absolutely love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I talked to somebody recently and he said a funny thing to me. Not a funny thing. He said a pretty insightful thing to me. And he said, at this point in my life, I give myself 48 hours. Ego is if whatever comes into my life within 48 hours is not bringing positivity to me, I'm done with it.
Wow.
Because, and I hate to say it, but it doesn't matter who it is, where it is. You got 48 hours. If I feel like you're bringing me down or you're going to, I remove myself from the situation.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, but just to goes to show you how people have these different mechanisms in place to keep them moving in the direction that they want to be and to keep themselves out of bad environments.
But that's also something you learn from bad experiences.
Oh, absolutely.
He went through 100%. Things where he was like, it's not worth it anymore.
Yeah.
Because he, that's what probably led him there.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that goes for business. It goes for relationships, friendships too. It's like I've always had a month. I give myself a little bit more time, but
right,
like same as like a business thing, or I would. So I was the manager at Vidal Sassoon, and I'd have people come to me and say, "I don't know if this is the right path for me. I don't know if I want to do this. I'm going to do this radical decision to move across country." And I go, "Do me a favor. Give me a month. Give me 1 month of your time. If you still feel the same way that you feel now, leave."
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, that's just a business example, but if you still feel a certain way, in the same time, give yourself a time frame. I'm like, put it in your calendar, put it in your diary. If you still feel these feelings, and write them down. If you still feel that in a time frame, do it.
Yeah.
Because at least you've give yourself that time. Because I think a lot of us make decisions irrationally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't really give ourselves time to think.
Absolutely.
And to kind of go through it that way.
Sometimes we give too much time. Right.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, right. But it's tough. I mean, listen, I don't think anybody's very good at taking their own advice. So, I mean, I know it's just kind of what I see throughout my experiences in life. It's very hard to take your own advice sometimes because I feel like everybody has what they're willing to deal with, right? Like everybody knows what they're willing to deal with, and everybody feels like theirs might be a little bit more than the person they're giving advice to. So they act differently, right? Or they'll tolerate more than someone they might tell another person not to deal with it.
That's right.
But they're like, oh, I'm different. I have a thicker skin. I have a higher threshold.
Yeah.
I can deal with it just a little bit longer. I think we all do it though. I mean, it's hard. If only we could remove ourselves from the situation, right? And just look in on it the way other people do, it would make things so much easier.
I agree.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit harsh now.
It's okay. Sarah,
I'm very much like, no, I'm not putting up with that.
Right. If you could sum up everything that you've said and that you have been through and put it in one message for someone listening, what would it be?
What do you think about that one?
Like, what's the thing that you want people to hear from your story?
I think it's just, you've got to believe in yourself. You've got to understand yourself, and you only tolerate what you tolerate. Yeah. And it is so much more beautiful when you take that risk. We all have to take risks in life. Otherwise, we just stay stagnant.
Yeah.
And I would do it all over again, but I've now learned from it. I know what I would put up with, what I would not put up with.
That's right.
And it makes my future so much brighter for future relationships in all aspects, business, life, friends, right? And love. Yeah, I think just putting your boundaries into place a little bit more.
Yeah. Taking the risk on yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like I said before, I can look at the darkness, but I don't stare at it.
Right.
Move it along.
Feel it, let it exist, and then start working towards getting back to the light.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's unfortunate they say you can't find the light without the dark though, right?
Yeah, but dark cannot exist where light is.
No, it can't. That's not to say that that's not what it was saying. I'm just kind of saying that, so you need to be in the dark to find the light sometimes. You just have to. They can't coexist together, but you need those dark moments to find better ones.
Yeah.
It's just.
Otherwise, you don't know what's dark. You don't know what's negative. You don't know what's happy. If you don't have the both to compare.
Yeah. 100%. It just gives you perspective on everything. And that's what we need as human beings. So, but let me ask you a question. So just out of curiosity, you obviously know some of the people, I'm imagining some of the people that he had his affairs with. Are those people that you want to talk about? You don't have to. There's no pressure.
When you say that, is it,
is it something you want to disclose? Like, do you have kind of a bone to pick where you would like to discuss?
Honestly, what I would say, I mean, I've had a couple of them that have reached out, and I've never had an apology. It's go back to Scotland where you belong.
What? Really? Wow. Fuck them.
Mm-hmm. I've had go back to Scotland where you belong. This girl was sneaked in the side of my gate past the cameras into my house with my dogs in my bedroom and sneaked back out and parked around the corner, and I have to go back to Scotland. I'd just been dropped off at the airport to go and visit my friend in Dallas, and the airport's 10 minutes from my home. This girl was already parked outside my house.
Waiting.
Wow.
Waiting.
Yeah.
And that's, like there's a lot of other ones. But you know what? And I said this to this girl. I actually said this to her. I have no bad feelings towards you. I don't have any grudges towards you. Right. You're one of many.
Yeah.
You're not special. I'm sorry to tell you that. And when people are jealous or envious of how did Sara become the wife, right? How did she be the one? How was she the one to change him? Why did he choose her? Trust me, guys, I wish I was you guys.
Right.
Because I now need to go through divorce and court, and I'm still attached. I still have his last name.
That's right.
Dying to get that gone.
And everything that you went through leading up to it.
And everything I went through. There's links there. There's a bond there that I can't just let go like these other people. But no, I have nothing against them. I don't. If I seen them in the street, I wouldn't say anything to them. When I say I don't care, like, I care what happened, but I can't have any grudges towards any of them because there's so many of them.
Right.
There's so many of them.
Why destroy your own peace?
I mean, I call it the Ted Bundy effect.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he had that Ted Bundy effect where he was able to manipulate all these people to believe that they were the one that was beside me.
Wow.
Right? Or that they were something special.
Wow.
Right?
That's unbelievable.
Like, I mean, if we want to get into that, one of them actually got pregnant to him.
Wow, really? She did.
And it was a couple of months after my wedding.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This guy, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I've seen all those text messages. All these things are not rumors. I've physical evidence of the text messages from all of this. He was just money driven. So with me, he was just ripping the absolute piss out of me. I remember one time, this really killed me. I got this Chanel bag that I worked so hard for. I've always in my life wanted a Chanel bag.
Right.
And we got close to rent. And because I'm taking care of him, his son, I'm getting really low in funds. And I'm like, I need help. I need you to give me help, money towards rent.
Right.
I'm not doing that. You wanted this house, so I'm not paying for that. I'm like, we live in this together, we're married. Right? I had to go and sell that Chanel bag.
Fuck.
Right? Sell that Chanel bag. And I was crying my eyes out. You know, that same evening he went and slept with someone?
I'm not shocked.
I've got all the dates. I've got picture evidence of text messages because one of the girls had a boyfriend and found out she was cheating on him that contacted me. Right? And maps of where I live and big massive arrows to show where to park the car. I have everything that I'm saying, everything I have said today, I have physical evidence of.
So many women wish they had that. Wow. So many women men and women, I should say, they have to wonder and never really know, but have that instinct, right? They have the instinct, but they never get the proof. And that's hard to live with too. I don't know which is worse. Yeah. Knowing, having it literally in front of you, seeing it word for word, or knowing that something happened, but never having the evidence in front of you.
I think it's mostly like he watched me break down, have mental breakdowns, right? Because I had the anxiety and I refused to take anxiety medication. I refused to take depression medicine. I kept thinking I can beat this by myself. And to this day, I have never touched either or meds for that.
That's amazing for you.
That is amazing. And he was causing it.
It is.
He was causing it, but I refused to do that. I remember actually when it first happened, 4 hours later, right? His mother messaged me saying, "Hey Sara, what's those antidepressant medications that you take?"
This is after the incident.
4 hours after I had my head smashed off the wall multiple times. And I went, "What?" And she says, "Oh, it's I was thinking to get these meds for my other son." She tried to set me up.
Yeah, she tried to bait you.
And I said, "I have never took an antidepressant in my life."
Right.
Like,
they wanted to say that you were insane or that you weren't mentally stable.
That's the type of people that I had to deal with.
Yeah.
Well, now you know where he gets it from now.
Right. I mean talk about enabling.
Yeah. I mean, and then the crazy thing is when they send a message like that, like knowing that you've never done it or taken any, what did they expect you to say?
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
Like it's desperation.
It was like the clown comes with a circus. Do you know
she probably didn't even know. She probably didn't even know. She was just hoping you'd say something.
Right. She was
already making a case.
Yeah.
She knew what her son had done. She refused to believe it. And now realizing there's a lot of, there's so many things that have happened on the eruption of what happened to me this is why it's so important for me to speak up, because if I can demolish this happening to someone else, I feel sorry for all of these people involved. But I also feel sorry for, he is so good at what he does, the manipulation, the feel sorry for me card, right? Like, he's so good at it. I feel like I have a good sense of character. My friends are very critical. Yeah. And he fooled them all. And that's why I wanted to make it really clear. People have said to me, did you not like see it coming, or did you not think anything was off? No, because he's so good at lying.
I want to say this so that people have context. With a sociopath, with a psychopath, you don't always see the signs. They are literally professional liars. They are literally professional manipulators. There is nothing there. You aren't going to see the things that you might see in a narcissistic or a toxic person, right? Because the mask is so solid. It is so solid. Like, so I want to say that for people, because they need to understand that like, you're not stupid for not seeing the signs. You are not an idiot, because a lot of women are like, why didn't I see this? How could I have not seen this? Right. It's not you. You are dealing with someone who has done this their entire life.
They learn the emotions. They
have learned it.
You're not meant to see these things. You're not. I'm not a psychologist.
Right. That's right.
Right.
You're just a person.
So we're not meant to see these things because we're not them. We're not meant to understand how their brain works. Right. Because we're not sociopaths or narcissists. Right. Yeah. We're not meant to understand it.
And you should have been able to trust them.
That's why we have trauma. Right.
That's right.
But you know, the difference, like you were talking earlier about like your psychopath, narcissism, sociopath, there's 3 differences between the 3 of them too, right? So your psychopath, you're born that way. Yeah. Right. A narcissist, you know, you're born with the narcissism, but you learn throughout life. Yeah. Sociopath, you're not born with that. That's created at a young age. Yeah. So there's a lot of dark history going on there that I don't even want to know. Right. But you become a sociopath through childhood. Yeah. And you're not born with that. You're made to be like that.
Yeah. There's different ways that it happens. I've read. Like sometimes it's due to severe trauma that literally just a person cracks. Yeah. They lose all sense of empathy because it's a survival mechanism. And then sometimes they are enabled so badly by one parent while being abused by another parent, that it creates a combination of like just a monster, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're just used to abuse. And I feel like with that family, it's just a line of abuse. Yeah. Like, grandma was abused, mother was abused, he was abused. That's right. And it just says normal for them. So for them as a family, for me to go to the police, I then become like the evil person.
Yeah. You're the enemy at that point.
I've done what's right. Yeah. Like, so.
They're like, it's just life. They're like trying to, justify it.
Oh, I remember. I've got those messages loud and clear. I've got voice messages from them too saying, tomorrow is a new day.
Just get over it.
Go to bed. Tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah, just go to sleep. It's fine. It didn't happen.
This is not okay, and this will never happen to me. It
didn't happen to you.
To be so cavalier about it to me, just
like he was.
It irks me. Even a mother to their son, like, you're a woman. Yeah. Like, what's up with you?
But well, she's been abused her whole life too.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And so she thinks it's normal.
When does it stop? When do you try to stop the cycle? When do you stop perpetuating things through your children?
Well, it's up to you. Right?
Well, yeah, right. It takes that one roadblock. I can quite happily stand still here and say I will be that roadblock. Because if I didn't do it, someone else that doesn't have the strength that I've got will just keep letting it go, letting it fly. And it's going to get real bad. Like, sociopaths just get worse. They don't get better. Right? There's no therapy that's going to help that. Yeah. They'll keep getting worse. Yeah. And if I had to remain quiet for what happened to me, and something really, really bad happens to someone after, and I kept quiet, that's a regret I'll never be able to live with.
Yeah, that's a good message to women that are like on the, like they can't decide, do I tell on this person and deal with the consequences of going to court and all these things, or not being believed, or do I just stay quiet and just disappear? Like, and I understand this from both perspectives. I did not turn in my abuser. I was very young. I was only like 19, maybe close to 20. This was long before I was ever married. I just want to clarify that. It was not my ex-husband. But I didn't turn him in. I just wanted to get away. I wanted to disappear. I wanted to be out of his life. I wanted him out of my life because I was scared of him. And I've talked about this before on our podcast as well. Like, he strangled me and told me he would kill me. And I genuinely believed him. And luckily I got away. It's a long story. We'll get into that another time. But like, I got away, thank God. but I was scared of him and I didn't turn him in. And I still to this day don't know why. I think I had so much empathy. Like I was trying to understand why he would do that or why he was the way he was, as opposed to going, that's not okay. People like that should go to jail.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
We don't have regrets in life. Do you regret doing that?
Do I regret not turning him in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do a little. I do.
Do you think about that often?
I used to. It's not so much anymore because it's been so long ago now. But I do regret it a little bit because who knows what his relationships were like after me. And they might have heard rumors, but when you don't turn someone in, they're only rumors, right?
Exactly.
And abusers can lie their way out of anything, right?
Yeah.
And if I had just turned him in, whether he got convicted, whether he didn't, at least someone could look at that and go, oof, no, thank you.
Well,
you know?
Yeah, it was like, I've always lived my life. I don't want to have any regrets.
Right.
But I will make it very clear. I will never forgive him for what happened to me.
Right.
And I know we say like forgive and forget and, you know, you've got to do that as part of your healing journey. I go to my bed every night and I sleep like a rock.
Yeah.
I will never forgive him for what he's done. I'm not like, I want you to go through hell.
Right.
I've removed myself from that situation. He will never get to see me again unless, again, it's a legal situation.
Absolutely.
But you'll never get to speak to me again. You've lost that opportunity. You've lost that choice of the matter. You've abused me and you've betrayed me.
Yeah.
So now you've lost the access to me. You have lost complete and utter access to me.
Amen.
I will never forgive him for what he done to me.
And countless others.
You know, a part of my soul left my body that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have grown strength from it. And again, I am thankful. But you better believe I can have no regrets by saying this. I will never forgive someone, and I've never been told sorry.
Just while you're on the point, people do say you need to forgive to heal, but I agree wholeheartedly. There are certain actions and things that are unforgivable, and I don't care what anybody says.
And here's the thing: I think people get confused because it's hard to forgive something like that, and maybe it isn't about forgiving them. Maybe it's about forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
For letting that happen, for letting someone be in your life that you probably instinctually knew deep down inside something's not right.
100%.
I did.
Okay.
And every person I've ever talked to that's been in an abusive relationship, like, there was something that that felt off, that did not feel right. Yeah. And I didn't trust myself.
And we question ourselves. Did we then go, wait, how did I not see that? Is there something wrong with me?
That's
did I make this happen?
Right.
Like,
you always think it's you.
It's self-blame. Yeah. And you have to really realize it's nothing to do with you.
Nothing to do with you. It's who they are.
Nothing to do with you. You've done your absolute best. Like going back to like someone's giving you breadcrumbs and you make them a 6-course meal.
Yeah.
But you can't blame yourself. And that's the forgiveness that you have to have with yourself, to forgive yourself. It's okay. Yeah. This was another learning curve.
That's right.
It's fine. But never forgive. I can't do it.
Yeah. But you can forgive yourself, and that's what matters.
And we'll bring that back to the culture in Scotland. Like,
and you know what? I want to say something too. One more thing. I'm sorry about forgiveness. Like sometimes when it comes to something like that, it's in a way you do forgive them by letting it go, right? Yeah. Like, but you don't forgive what they did. Yeah. Maybe you have forgiven just the person by letting it go and finding your peace again, but you'll never be able to forgive what they did because it's not forgivable.
Oh, exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Some people will make you think that there is, that you need to forgive to move on. That's not.
Oh, the amount of people say that to me. You have to. They'll go, Sara, come on, you're a better person than that. And I'm like, let me tell you something.
You're a better person by not wishing ill on him. Now, if you're wishing ill on somebody, that's different. That's unhealthy.
And that's why I think in a way you have forgiven, right?
I mean, I don't like I don't have to worry about you anymore.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm fine. I'm safe. I've got a very strong restraining order against me. I don't have to worry about looking over my shoulder every 2 seconds. Right. I'm being protected. And I will say one thing too, because a lot of people go back and forth on law enforcement and how the courts work. I have had the experience of a lifetime. Like just the respect, the support system that I've had from Los Angeles Police Department and the court system has been phenomenal. Phenomenal. And
I'm so happy to hear that.
The way that they take domestic violence so seriously in California, especially.
Thank God.
Like my 3 dogs have restraining orders.
Wow.
Do they really?
My 3 dogs have restraining orders. They see dogs as the same equivalent of like children too.
Yeah, they should.
You know, and it's like they really have protected me and I feel safe. I genuinely feel safe. And just the victim impact, the people that take care of victims.
Yeah.
Oh, they're phenomenal.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because this is a topic that I hope law enforcement agencies all around the world here. California is an exception, right? There are a lot of states that do not protect women that well in restraining orders. And that is, I believe, why a lot of women don't turn them in, because the fear of what's going to happen after turning them in and angering them is what they are fearful of. Because they know if I turn this person in and he is exposed, this gets worse for me. And then I'm not going to get protected the way that I'm hoping. Although, oh yeah, you got a restraining order. Here's your paper. They can walk through your house still with a gun. And that's what happens. I know a woman, and this is one of the saddest stories. She literally got murdered by her husband. She used to come into our salon all the time, the sweetest woman. He was abusive behind the scenes. He was a police officer, by the way, a sheriff. So she didn't turn him in because she was scared of him, but she told him she wanted a divorce. And he told her he wanted to talk about things. And she wrote it in her journal. They have this proof. She had written in her journal, if something happens to me when I go to meet him today to talk about this, he killed me. She left. She went to go meet him. She disappeared. Wow. 4 days, no one knew where she was. It was so awful. She had twin kids. They couldn't find her. They finally found her car off the side of a random road. Of course, that's the immediately a sign. And then I think it was months later, they finally found her. He had literally, there's a river in Missouri, the Mississippi River. He had found like an island in the Mississippi River, boated her out and buried her on the island in the middle of the river. And he had killed her. And it's so sad because that's what happens. Women are afraid that will happen. And it does. Our justice system has to do better to protect.
It does.
Just talking about gun violence, and I can get a little bit, this is a very political thing here, but I was brought up around zero guns. We had, I don't know if anyone's aware, but we had a really traumatic shooting. 1994. There was a shooting in a school in Dunblane Primary School. Our tennis player, he was at that school, Andy Murray. He was at the school at the time. My school was 10 minutes away from the school. And I was in the same year. So this shooter went into the school, shot all the children. They were around 4 or 5 years old. Every single kid and the teacher. Wow. That day forward, guns were banned in the whole of the United Kingdom.
Wow.
Ask me the last time there was a shooting.
When was the last time there was a shooting?
1994.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's smart. It really is.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to look at this, and we won't get into like all of it. It's hard because it's like you have to really trust your government, right? Yeah. People have to trust that their government's not going to take over and put their families at risk where they can't protect themselves, right?
100%.
And that's what's I think so divisive about this topic in our country is that people don't trust our government here. They're afraid that if they give away all their power to protect themselves, that something's going to happen to where the government will turn on them, right? Yeah. And it'll be like, a Nazi Germany you hear. And that's what people are afraid of. And it's so hard. But you're right. If you don't give guns to people, they can't shoot anyone.
Right. Exactly. I mean, they had to forfeit any guns, any hunting guns, anything. They had, I think it was, maybe wrong here, but I'm sure it was like 5 days they had to put everything back to the police. And then there was random raids that went on. So if you were caught with one, you got 15 years in jail. And remember, the United Kingdom, we don't have bail.
Right.
You're getting 15 years, you're going in.
Wow.
Right? So the court systems don't work as fast as they do here because there's not as many cases. Because people, we've got a very hardcore, there's no like a backhander. Oh, it's fine.
There's no slap on the wrist.
No slap on the wrist. There you go. You're going down.
It's so hard. It's like, because there are criminals, there are people that do evil, cruel things that go to schools and shoot children. Yeah. But then there's how do you protect yourself when someone comes into your home and you don't have a gun and you're a woman that's not strong enough to defend herself? It's such a hard line to know what's right, I
mean, it's going to work in different places for different reasons.
Right. But I kind of wish I lived there.
And the United States is a lot bigger than Scotland. Let's just let's be fair here.
There's that.
Scotland and the UK, I mean, I'm not trying to say that there's no crime that happens there.
Right.
Of course.
We just use chibs. Do you know what a chib is?
Is it a knife?
Do you know what a chib is? You want me to tell you about a Scottish chib?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear this.
So it's a panel of wood. And then we put nails in it. I'm not saying me. We put nails in it, and then we use it like old school.
That's freaking medieval.
Wow.
Yeah. That is William Wallace stuff right there.
Like a spiked bat.
Yeah, it was like someone had said to me, we don't get we say Americans a little bit more cowardly when they're attacking people because at least you've got a distance between you and the gun and the person.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, we get our hands dirty.
Yeah.
We get right in about it.
Warriors.
We get a Glasgow kiss.
William Wallace started a whole movement. We will fight to the death.
Fight to the death.
Actually, I think that was Sparta.
Such a great scene. To this day, I think it's one of the best scenes ever in the movie.
Oh my God. I cry every single time. I'll never not cry on that scene. Ever.
Love it.
Ever. Because it's like, damn, you stand up for yourselves. You fight for yourself. You protect what is yours and what you love.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't stand down even when you're literally getting pulled apart.
Including for yourself. And that's the whole message here for today, ladies and gentlemen. If you get anything, learn to fight for yourself.
It was an amazing love story too, I gotta say.
Oh, two. There was two. That movie has it all. There is no greater.
Mel Gibson is hot.
William Wallace.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
One time,
that was my first love at 12 years old.
When I moved to LA, one of my friends took me to, it was an Equinox off Sepulveda, and Mel Gibson walked in, and I don't know why. Don't even ask me. But I just went, freedom!
Do you know how much he probably hears that though?
No, he turned around and went, oh.
He cracks me up.
I was like, I'm Scottish. I'm a full breed.
I'm allowed to say that.
I'm allowed to do this. But
hilarious.
So just on a final thought, let me ask you a question now. So this, you said, happened back in May. Mm-hmm. So since then, have you, when you date, is it tainted for you now? Do you go into everything kind of second guessing?
No.
No? You go into it just as confidently as you used to? I'm
very aware of what to avoid. Okay. And I've definitely strengthened my boundaries and what I put up with and what I don't. I just keep it very friendly now. Okay. You know, like I don't need someone to make me happy. I've always been like that. So if someone comes my way and it clicks, great. If it doesn't, I'm fine.
Yep.
Right.
I've dated a little bit here and there, but nothing serious. And that could be a lot to do with myself, not wanting anything serious. I also don't want to drag anyone through the mud at the moment.
That's right.
Until I feel like selfishly, but also looking out for someone else.
Yeah.
It's not fair for me to bring someone else in to be serious with until I'm done.
It's very admirable of you though.
So, I agree. I love that. I say that all the time. Like, don't use people to heal.
Yeah.
You got to heal on your own. You got to get your shit dealt with before you bring other people into your life. It's not fair. Even if they're willing, it's still not fair to do.
Like hurt people, right?
That's right. That's right.
I need to be healed, and just so that when I meet the right person, I can give them it all. Yeah. I can give all the love that I gave the last time, but 10 times more, and be able to have it received this time.
Right. That's right.
To have it received. So I have to just give myself grace. It's not even been a year yet.
That's right.
I'm not looking.
Same.
If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Same.
So,
and when you've been through something like that, you really do. You get really content with being yourself and being on your own, because you value your peace in a way that you never have before.
Oh, I value it so much. See, it's so nice just to go to bed or go and make a decision and not have to like check in with someone or, that's freedom.
It is freedom.
It's nice to be comfortable on your own. I gotta say,
it's great.
You have to be able. You have to be able to live on your own. You just need to be able to. You just need to be able to be content with yourself. Yeah, you have to be able and comfortable with that.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like even before you can get serious with somebody, otherwise you become so dependent.
You really do. Codependency.
I
from experience, I'm speaking. Like, you know, and hear me out. Like, we're wired to connect with other people.
Absolutely.
We were made that way. That is genetically DNA. And we can't avoid that. Obviously, connection is a beautiful thing and it's a powerful thing. You can't get out of that desire, but you can still get content. You still can get to a peaceful place with or without it. And that is when you get the best connections with people.
100%.
When you're coming from you know what, I am good on my own, but I'd be happy to have you over. I'd be happy to go out with you. That sounds great. Let's do it.
Yeah, because it's coming from a place of need. Yeah. You know, not need, want, not need. Yeah. You know, you want to do those things. You want to be with somebody. You want that companionship. You don't need the companionship. You're not trapped by it.
No, girl got to eat. Do you know what I mean? So it's quite nice.
Yeah, I'd love for you to take me out for a nice dinner.
Yeah, girl got to eat. Do you know what I mean? It's not Captain Save-A-Hole over here.
Well, Sarah, I am so excited for people to hear this message, but also I'm just so grateful we met.
I know. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so proud of you. You're so brave for doing this. Like, people don't realize how much strength it takes and courage it takes to tell your story but it's a beautiful thing. And I'm so proud of you and who you are and what you've been through and come out of on your own. Like you are a perfect example of what we can do if we really believe in ourselves and pick ourselves back up. Exactly. So thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being here. Very sorry for what you went through. And while I don't feel bad for you,
I'm going to stop you here.
I don't feel bad for you.
Never say sorry. Just be grateful. Say, thank God you went through what you went through. That's the answer I want. I don't want to hear, I feel sorry for you or...
No, I don't. When I say sorry, I just mean that it's unfortunate that you had to go through something like that in your life.
Yeah.
And as far as the men go who are like that, they're failing our women and they're failing us as men. So you guys need to sharpen the fuck up. Seriously.
You just start with therapy.
Yeah.
And please
hit me up 310. No.
Yeah, just start with therapy. Lord God. If I could, one thing I just wish people understand, like if you, it doesn't matter. There's no psychopath. There's no narcissist. There's no sociopath listening to this going, you know what? You're right. I should.
No, for sure.
I should get in therapy. You're right. Never mind. But if you are a man and you know you have toxic tendencies and you don't want to be an abuser and you want to do what's right by the world and you know you're struggling in some way or another to control your emotions and your rage and your anger, go to therapy. Get therapy. There's nothing wrong with getting therapy.
Yeah, people have a lot of people struggle with it. Unfortunately, it's very good for you. Most people, if they just realize how good it is for you to be able to even talk about things with somebody who can give you a good perspective on it. You know, that more people would probably go, but it's hard to take that first step. It really is sometimes hard to take that first step. But Sara, keep doing what you're doing. Obviously, like you said, if you can help one person, you've helped more than most people have. Yeah,
many.
Just keep striving for one at a time, one person at a time, and
that's right.
Exactly.
You'll be good. But, all right, everybody, that's it. Thank you for joining us as usual. Continue to give us your feedback. You know that we love it. We hope you enjoyed the episode today with Sara McConnell. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Be sure to check out Sara's IG at Sugarcoat Hair Extension and her website at www.sugarcoathair.com. Also check our social media out at notfornothing.podcast on IG and Not For Nothing Podcast, one word, on YouTube to watch all our short form and long form content. Thank you guys. We appreciate you. We're done. It's a wrap.